Ukraine has made West more united than ever, Zelenskiy tells London conference.
Here's a summary of the article.
Volodymyr Zelenskiy has said that Ukraine has made the West, including the EU, more united than ever before and can become an engine for green world growth and security for decades, in an address by video linked to more than 1,000 businesses and foreign ministers at a two-day Ukraine Recovery Conference in London. The Ukrainian president argued that the fight for his country was a way to protect freedom and security across the world and, once at peace and free from Russian interference, Ukraine could be the largest source of economic, industrial and technological growth in Europe for decades and decades. The European Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, told the meeting Ukraine was running a budget deficit to 2027 of €60 billion and blamed the destruction on one man's delusional attempt to restore a lost empire. She said she was sure Ukraine would become a member of the European Union, and delivered an upbeat progress report on Ukraine meeting its pre-accession commitments towards democracy, judicial reform, media freedom and anti-corruption. Ukraine had accelerated its reform program with impressive speed and resolve, she said, adding that before the summer break the EU vowed deliver a report on how Russia should pay for the damage it has caused inside Ukraine. Richard Branson, the Virgin owner and a Ukraine ambassador for business, condemned those companies still operating in Russia and called for sanctions to be strengthened and loopholes to be tightened. Zelensky tried to present a vision of how a post-war Ukraine could become a future bulwark for security, stability, democracy and prosperity across the West.
This post received a score of 7,100, with an upvote ratio of 91%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Well, it certainly didn't help demilitarize anyone other than Russia.
If NATO gives out MVP awards, it'd be appropriate IMO to award it to Putin. Seems like a fair number of sticky issues, like funding, are getting decongested and progressing.
Times Person of the Year. His war in Ukraine has had a massive impact on global relations and economies. The designation is not good or bad, but impact. Highlights include strengthening and expanding NATO, strengthening U.S. mill industry complex, impacting relations with Iran, China, India, global market changes, strengthening shithouses like BlackRock, alienating Russia, empowering ex-Soviet bloc, strengthening EU mill self-reliance, exposing Russian tactics to destabilize Western countries. Edit. Accelerating phase out of fossil fuel, massive humanitarian crises and impact. Edit 2. Award to designation.
Honestly, fair yeah. Would need a huge reminder in the front that it is not a goodest person award yeah, but damn if Putin has not accidentally done a lot for the West with this invasion.
I mean, Hitler did win at 1938.
It also helped that the war unmasked some of the internal conflicts that Russia has planted in most European countries. We are not just talking about big things like Brexit, but a lot of local misinformation campaigns that have caused a wider division between left and right voters. It has led to the discovery of Russia's influence on the far right, which is now taken as a serious threat rather than being viewed as an innocent group of populists.
Alt-right is a problem in almost every nation, but while I cannot see causation, it does feel like a funny coincidence that so many alt-right moments are flaring up and simultaneously, like someone lifted a rock and the vermin start to hiss and scurry before the rock is dropped back on them.
The far-right rise coincides with the erasing of worker rights, wages, fading middle class, unfiltered platforms incentivizing the loudest and most extreme voices, and an overall discontent in representation for the above things. Extremism has always been there, it just gets more support because of this general discontent.
Aren't those issues usually associated with the political left? How ironic that common people would side with the opposite of what would benefit them more.
They are associated with both, and each has different responses and solutions accordingly. Solutions are technically simple but politically difficult. They have their own solutions for this, generally giving one person all the power they need to solve the problem. Besides pushing ever more horrific actions, their solutions don't fucking solve shit. So they becomes increasingly separated from reality.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.